You want to be called Captain?
Yeah, just call me Captain. That's fine.
Captain?
Yep.
No, I don't want to call you Captain. I don't know, man. You got some other name I can call you?
Call him Wow. This is his other.
I don't want to call you Captain.
Oh, shit, it's coming up.
Somebody's
feedback. Yeah,
okay.
You can call me Wow. That's fine. It's all good. That's my chat name on the YouTubes, so people know who I am.
I'll call you Chattel Slavery. That's what I'll call you.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, no. Captain or whatever. That's fine. But let me check out the chat here. Hey Gargamel, what's up, buddy? Yes, that's true. I am French Canadian, not Portuguese. Reverend, piece of shit. Hey Faye Knox. I'm just kidding, Reverend. Hey Point Fire, Greg, son of Rambo. Maiden, how's it going? Welcome to the Canadian Roundtable, guys. Hey Julie, what's up? Daniel, Boingo Bear, Slavey. I'm a slave, of course, but I think we're going to start off probably with stuff about Trudeau, because obviously he's still in the news a bunch recently because of the whole blackface thing and whatnot. So I got a bunch of articles of different news organizations and stuff just making excuses for him, right? And like just before I started this, I'll just like check CBC or something, see if I missed stuff during the day. And right away, there's another opinion piece why Trudeau's excuse or apology was like good or something. I don't know, blah, blah, blah. But to start off, I want to start off with mostly the Munk debate, right? So, Trudeau decided not to participate. So now they're just not going to have the Munk debate whatsoever. And obviously, what do you guys think about that? Why do you think he doesn't want to show up to the debate?
Because he's not strong enough to debate. I mean, I think the strongest of the trio, if you're counting the CPC Liberals and the PPC, Bernier will take them to the town, right? Like I think this is why he chickened out, and I think Bernier is going to ask him about his track records on giving money away and his hypocrisy. And he doesn't want to. He's just avoiding answering that. So.
Right.
It'll be a bad look for him.
Even if Scheer goes after him, it'll still look bad because it'll bring things to the front, right? Like he can't answer the questions because he needs a script, and if you don't have a script to the questions, you can't answer them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's done so many like terrible things lately, as well as speaking about foreign policy. He hired what was that guy from Syria, that pro-Assad guy. And everybody's freaking out about it. Now I think Chrystia Freeland released a statement about it. Now now he's no longer going to be the ambassador or something like that. I forget what role they're going to give this guy, but I don't give a shit if he was pro-Assad. And apparently he like drives around in his Humvee, drives around the city with like Assad on the side of his, and he's terrorizing the Syrian refugees or something. So. They got rid of him quickly. So probably he wouldn't want to answer questions about that. Wouldn't want to answer questions about the blackface shit. So it's just more beneficial for him to stay away from debates completely. If he could stay out of all of the debates, he probably would. And his supporters would make excuses for it and all that stuff. Like, like they were saying with the Munk debate, like this girl I have right now, this is only one of the many things, but most people they're like, oh, Steve, this is the same thing that hosted Steve Bannon a little while ago, right? And now this girl's like, Trudeau should participate in more debates, but he shouldn't participate in the same ones that gave Steve Bannon a platform to fight for white nationalist populism in 2018. This is not complicated. So they're making excuses all over Twitter, right? Deplatform white supremacy, and when they refuse, deplatform the platform. Don't let it run a national debate. Though granted, when the Globe and Mail is giving Ezra Levant column space, who is there left on the national scale to expect news from that meets the basic requirement of doesn't give a platform to open white supremacy? So Ezra Levant is a Jew. If you guys don't know, it's not
good observation.
Supremacy, but these people are just stupid. And, I don't know how many of these people are actually legitimate human beings or paid actors or just people that go on Twitter and try to stir up a type of, I don't know if so many people are this stupid, because I do see a lot of bots, on Twitter whenever something does happen. Like with the blackface thing, I saw a lot of people that had like one follower that were like, I'm black, and they didn't have a face or anything. They're like, I'm black and I didn't find it racist and blah, blah, blah. Right. So
Actually, there was a video of, they keep doing these gotcha moments on Rebel, but there was a video they did today. They were actually in Brampton, I think, driving a truck around with the blackface and talking to people. And most of the black people really had no issue, except for one white woman who just completely went off on David Menzies. And she was just screaming, "You're a racist! That's really racist!" But when she asked the black people, they didn't seem to give a shit. And then the one Sikh person that he talked to was just interested in getting the truck off the property, claiming that it's against the law to bring commercial trucks onto private property, which I found really funny since they were asking for no helmets and everybody else had to follow the law. But yeah, it was a pretty good video.
Right. Yeah. No, I got a couple of videos from Rebel as well to show where he's arguing with this CTV reporter. I don't know if you guys saw this earlier.
No, I didn't see that
one guy from the Rebel, he's arguing with CTV reporter. It's pretty funny. I'll show that a little bit later. But this is from the guy who can smell white supremacy wrote this article, Tariq Fatah, right? But he does point out a good, interesting thing, right? Like during his first apology to reporters on his aircraft, Trudeau gave the impression that he dressed up in Aladdin at an Arabian Nights theme party at a school where he was a teacher. However, the Telegraph reports that far from being a costume party gala, the event was a black tie dinner. The invitation had said it was a black tie with an Arabian Nights theme in the form of belly dancers and Middle Eastern music. More than 500 guests showed up. All of the men wore tuxedos except Mr. Trudeau. So, I don't know what's with this guy. Like, he doesn't give a shit. I think he knows that people would find it offensive, but he just doesn't give a shit. He's like, see, I can get away with whatever I want. And he is, it's not affecting him whatsoever. One guest told British newspaper, we're taken aback, blah, blah, blah. But, the real thing is like as early as 1997, while studying for his BEd degree, Trudeau had to go through class exercises in racism and privilege as part of his sociology and education course. So, he revealed it in 2016, to a group of elementary teachers in school or whatever. And he's like, Trudeau boasted he was fully aware of nuances of privileges and racism way back in 1997 or even earlier. He said, when I was doing my BEd, he had a class called Sociology of Education, and it was exactly around all the white privilege. And I remember this exercise where, as a class, we generated a binary list in terms of pairs, in terms of power dynamics, white versus non-white, male versus female, straight versus whatever, so he said that he got 19 out of 20 of these correct. So he's boasting about how 1997, he got all these things about privilege and stuff correct. So, he did this in 2001. It's just playing, feign ignorance and stuff. But you don't see a lot of the other media reporting on that, where they would be if it was like a conservative or something to be like, oh, actually, he's lying because this and that, because 1997, all this, and it'd be all over the news. But they give Trudeau a lot of leeway, obviously. But I don't know. I got a couple other more articles of what's his name, or the media kind of defending him. There's Chupa butting his way in. Oh, you got kicked out of the stream there. What happened?
No, I was trying to fix my internet problems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
let's see here. Yeah, but I saw one opinion piece today from Trudeau, but let's see here. Share. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think, Frederick? Are you muted?
Yeah. So I'm not really sure. I think this might like I think either way could be a good thing. It could be a good look. It mean one, if he's avoiding these debates, it means that um he's running and he has nothing to say. If he's in the debates, it's not going to be good for him either. So either way, it's a win-win. That's how I look at it, at least.
Right. Yeah. Him not being in the debates is a win.
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
I mean, it's well, because it shows people that he's afraid to answer tough questions that he has no reasonable answer to.
Nah,
Or to play
I don't
devil's
know.
advocate.
I
Or to
don't
play
think.
devil's advocate, it shows that he knows everything, or that he's got the best plan, and that he doesn't need to stand up for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but people want to hear him, right? So this is from my perspective. If the guy doesn't do it, like if he doesn't show up and he backs out of a debate, what do we on the community here talk about on the YouTubes and Twitters? If people back out of debates, right? He's lost the debate, so it's not a good look. I mean, if he shows up and debates and he debates poorly, that's still not a good look. Either way, I don't think that's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like he's only going to show up to debates where he's got his hand-picked, group of women leftists that are going to be the ones questioning him, like Rosie Barton and this other one who works for, I don't know, Toronto Star or something like that, right? Like, just, he's going to wait for these people. But the Munk debate already, like you've seen in the tweet, they're like, oh, this is the same company that hosted Steve Bannon and Steve Bannon's debate or whatever a little while ago. So it's guilt by association. It's connected to the Fraser Institute and the Koch brothers. Of course, he wouldn't go to that racist debate stage, but it's like, what about everybody else agreed to it? So, like, the Greens, the brown guy agreed to it. He didn't have a problem with it, but they're going to make excuses for it no matter what. And
exactly.
Go ahead.
Well, that's exactly what it is all excuses, right? There's no justifiable reason for him to not show up and stand there with everybody else. It's what he's supposed to do as the prime minister, as a politician, right? It's the way that the system works, but he doesn't have to follow the system.
Right. Go ahead, Fred.
No, on the National Post, the opinion piece is titled "Why we canceled the Munk debate and why our democracy is in trouble. The cancellation due to Justin Trudeau's refusal to participate denies voters the only real opportunity they had to see his foreign policy record challenged." So from that perspective, I can say, yeah, okay, I agree that that may be an issue, but I think this is an
idiot. He would just look so stupid. Like on debate stage, especially with all he's done, like anybody, people just pick him apart so easily. Elizabeth May could do it and make him look like an idiot or something.
while drunk, yeah,
while drunk and disorderly, all that stuff. So, it's clear why he won't participate, and then they're not going to make a big deal about this either. And like I said, if you looked at Twitter when this happened, they were just making excuses for it, right? And they're just saying, oh, well, they're racist. They're this. They hosted Steve Bannon, blah, 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 or whatever, right? So, some other articles. Yeah, but I guess I'll skim through a couple of the ones where they're just kind of, this is the one I just saw earlier from CBC, but there's two people who wrote this article, two women. I'm like, really? So you need two women to do the job of one man. That's what I see here. It's like, they're just trying to hire a bunch of diverse and women and stuff, and now they have to like hire two writers to write a piece that's like not very long at all. Like, what the hell? I'm sure there's something to this. I'm obviously joking, but everything in response to behavior many have described as racist. So, oh yeah, I just wanted to like highlight this because it said in brownface at a costume party and blackface at a talent show caused the Liberal Party leader to drop everything and respond to behavior many have described as racist and offensive. So you notice how they're like, many have described. Why not just say what it is? You can acknowledge all these other things that are clearly racist and whatever, but some people describe this as racist. Him putting a this in his pants and wearing bananas on his shirt.
Yeah, did he actually stuff something in his
Yeah,
pants?
he stuffed the fucking big sock in his pants, man. Sock in his pants, had
I looked-
bananas on his shirt,
Oh,
and
for fuck's sake.
had a fucking big dreadlocks, and he's done this multiple times. Like,
Does he have penis envy? Jesus Christ.
like
Oh.
like I said, the other event, it was a black tie event. He was the only guy who showed up in complete brown face.
Oh
And
my
it was
God.
done so like expertly well too, you know, like there was not an inch missed. It was clearly
How much
done.
do you think he paid somebody, a makeup artist, to do that for him?
Yeah, like look at that. Like that's, you know, it could just be like a very Aryan feature.
Why? So
brown
hold on
man.
a second. Why? Like I kind of noticed it. Like people were talking about it, but he actually, because I thought maybe that's just something with the jeans or folding or something. But he actually stuck something down there. What the fuck is
Yeah.
wrong with this? What is wrong with this guy? Jesus Christ!
Oh, he's fully committed.
I'm sorry, man. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You gotta respect a little bit of that, I guess.
I gotta respect what, man? Like, what's he
No.
trying to say? Sorry,
You gotta
man.
respect it.
Well, he said he said that sometimes he takes things just a little bit too far.
Right.
Oh God.
Yeah, he likes to. But
Does he use a pump in the bedroom with his wife?
who
And
knows
is he-
what he does in the I don't even want to know. It's probably some he probably does what his dad did to his mother and gave him to the Rolling Stones and whatever and all this other shit, right? I think didn't Donald Trump hook up Trudeau's mom with like somebody, like he fixed her up with somebody?
I don't know. I think she's done the whole
There's
New
some
York.
story.
that woman's just a cum factory or the repository. That woman's been around. You know, she's got. She's. You know,
Right.
what do they call that?
but
Like lips, tightening or something.
But you know, you got this article. It's like how Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's apologies suggest potential for change. You know, so
fuck.
this is an opinion piece.
Yeah, they're always trying to spin shit.
Yeah, his first apology included the use of I statements 130 times, i.e., I'm pissed off at myself. These statements did not discuss those who are wronged or the injury caused by his actions. In other words, his initial apology centered solely on his soul and on his record of other good behavior. How should Canadians assess this apology? Research shows there are a number of key components that contribute to a meaningful apology. It truly benefits those wronged. But, you know, it kind of goes in, you know, what is a real apology? It explains it in the clinical
You know what?
manner.
The more they try to spin this, the more they look like idiots, right? You can't justify wrong. I'm sorry, you can't. When you're trying to justify wrong, you just look more wrong. Oh,
Right. You know, it's like he's gonna look whatever way people want to look at him as, you know, like nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? Like nobody really gives a shit about blackface and people wearing blackface. Nobody was like, people probably laughed at the most, and then the people who you know, who are pretending to care are just using it for benefits and whatnot. But you know, it's the same thing with all the other racist things they pretend to be mad about when people whom they don't like say or do things that are apparently racist. You know, they want their heads, they want them this or that, but it's just, you know, it's whatever they can use. But you know, realistically, they don't give a shit, right? And I don't think this is going to affect his popularity too much. But what does the term taking responsibility actually mean in this situation? The research apology shows that taking responsibility means, you know, doing shit and whatever. But essentially, they just want Trudeau to, like, you know, create a bunch of, you know, probably new programs. If we take certain principles from the medical apology research and apply them to Trudeau, we can assume that many Canadians feel that his initial statements of regrets are hollow if they're not followed with meaningful recognition of the realities of structural racism that Canadians encounter every day. Recognition that racialized Canadians are the experts on issues of race and racism in our society will also be an important part on the meaningful response. Racialized Canadians must be given a prominent public voice on these complex issues, and Trudeau can and should demonstrate humility in learning by publicly listening and making space for these important dialogues. North American society is quite focused on identifying people as racist or not racist, and yet we all live, breathe, and swim in the soup of structural racism, reinforcing racist beliefs. Family doctor and activist Ritika Goal argued in an article in the Tai. So, just more bullshit. Like, Canada, we're structurally racist and we need to change all these things. And people that are not white are experts on race and racism, because what does that imply? That just only white people are being racist to everybody else, and like nobody's racist to white people whatsoever. They don't experience discrimination at all. But and no, just because you're black or you're a minority doesn't mean you're an expert on racism. How can you be an expert on race or racism anyways? Somebody called me a gorilla once. That makes me an expert. It's like, no, it doesn't. It means somebody was mean to you one fucking time in your life. What, you know what I mean? It's like, no, just don't give power to just random people because of the color of their skin, for fuck's sakes. That's right. That's racist. But two white women who wrote this, Lavasseur and MacDonald. So, fucking Scottish and a French woman, race traders. Oh, okay. Say race traders, I guess. Well, yeah, they probably are. What do I mean by that? But I don't know. But yeah, see, you get these articles coming out like that, and those women were more further left, so they weren't too happy with Trudeau's apology, right? But they were still like, he did a fair job, and if he really wants to change things, he's just going to have to change structural racism or something like that.
Have you seen that interview that it's on YouTube? I can't see the Chiron. It says all news exclusive. The reporter asks him about the blackface thing, and he keeps saying "we," and she says, "Don't you mean you? You keep saying we." He just ignores it. It's incredible. This guy is so like
right
out of it.
I know,
He's out of
yeah.
touch.
He just that's the one thing I don't like about this thing too, is that when taking responsibility for his actions, he's also blaming all of Canada and how society made him racist, and we all have a ways to go or something. Like, no, you did the racist shit, and now you got all these people calling for change and have like committees and spend all this money here or there, create all these different bodies of government or something to deal with racism because of what Trudeau did. We didn't do anything. There's nothing. We didn't do nothing, but now we're all to pay the price for something Trudeau did, right? It's the same thing they do with guns and shit. One person does something and they punish everybody, but this time Trudeau is the one, but then they try to blame all of us for that, which is fucking ridiculous. It boggles my mind.
Do you think Trudeau will donate money to somebody on Canada's behalf for his mistake?
Oh, he's like, the day of the thing, blackface thing coming out, there was a tweet sent out by the Liberal Party that said, we're going to be donating $3.2 million to this anti-racism thing, blah, blah, blah. And then they deleted it, quickly afterwards because, it clearly looks like pandering, right? But to be fair, that was announced a month earlier. Apparently, like, it just so happened to fall on that day, But let's be fair. Also, we know he pays off groups of people. Of course, he does. He pays off voters with our money, continuously. Yes, he does pay off minorities and stuff, and he will probably invest a lot of money into some type of nonsense thing to satiate the angry masses of leftists who are like, you need to give us more money, then we'll be fine with your racism. Just pay up, and then we'll be okay with it. That's what it seems like to me. It's like with the Aboriginal and the land thing claim. It's like, oh well, we love land and we love our sacred land, but then as soon as you give them enough money, then they're like, oh, fuck it, who cares? Fuck that land. I got lots of money now, right? That's all people really give a shit about at the end of the day. Resources, money, and that's why it's not going to affect Trudeau whatsoever, because he's offering the most money and resources to minorities and groups of people like this, right? So they're not stupid, you know what I mean? Like, of course they're gonna vote for that or take that at the very least. But this is another story. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, they'll end up just taking over the political party too in 15 years or 20 years. It'll just get handed over to the minorities. Same with probably the Democrats in the States, right?
Yeah. No, that's it's not a good future right now that Canada is looking towards, especially with the rate of immigration. This is why it's essential we lower it, immediately, and get parties like the PPC or Nationalist Party, whatever, to the forefront, and to get these ideas out there, because they are being censored. People look at the way the discussion is being steered right now. It's all about climate change. Canadians you poll Canadians, a lot of them, they don't care that much about climate change. A lot of people still don't really think it's a huge issue. They're worried about they're worried about immigration and worried about these things, but nobody is talking about it, right? It's ridiculous. But I'll just show, I guess, a couple more articles, or maybe this one. You kind of get the picture. I even have a couple more where they're showing support for Trudeau after this. But Toronto Star claims that blackface is as Canadian as hockey, so they're making this excuse, and we all know Toronto Star is the biggest Trudeau shill news agency ever, man. If you pay attention to their articles, like, very few things are ever going to be negative about that guy. But so they're making this argument from like the 1880s to the 1960s, Canadians performed blackface and it's a part of our history and culture and all this crap. But it's like, no, it's not. No, I don't know a single person I don't know a person or a single person who's ever worn blackface or anything like that. Just me personally. Like, I'm not, like, I don't know anybody. Do you?
No, I don't think.
Be honest. If you do, you do. Like, I'm just saying,
I don't know anyone that's put on blackface. Honestly, as long as I've grown up, and every Halloween party and going out for Halloween, no one's put on blackface. I mean, no one. It's like exactly what Derek said. You get to the half of your face and you start thinking, shit, what am I doing? Should I really be going through with this? So right. Yeah, no. And especially, like, it's not too long ago that he done that, right? He's done it in 2003, I think. So yeah.
Right. And see, this is what really people care about. So this is something from the UK, but
Oh, yeah, I posted.
You've seen this?
Yeah, I posted this. Play, go ahead. It's hilarious. Oh, BBC.
All right.
Another
this is from the
public...
BBC, and they probably really wanted to censor this poll, but they're like, shit.
the result is multiculturalism working? Here is what you told us.
Okay, so I don't know if people can hear that, but she said, here's the result. Is multiculturalism working?
So here is the result. Is multiculturalism working? Here is what you told us. 5% of those of you who voted said
She avoids the 95%. Did you notice that?
morning said no, it isn't. So here is the result.
Sorry?
Do you notice how she focuses on the no and not on the yes? Sorry, she focused on yes, but not on the no first.
Right.
To take it away, to take the traction. I mean, first thing you would have to say, 95% said no, but she didn't. It's hilarious.
Right.
That graphic says it all, right? So I mean, like obviously that's in the UK, but if you start doing that poll all around, I mean, we should actually start doing more polls like that on Twitter and other, like even on YouTube. Just get and then start publicizing that, because I know the media won't do it.
Right. Yeah, like that's the thing. We need to start doing that because yes, the media isn't going to report on a lot of stuff, and the only way to do that is for independent media, YouTubers, whatever, to go out and try to get the message across. And yes, all we have is YouTube and maybe some other means per se. I don't know. Maybe there's some other way or whatever, but it's still at least something. And it can change sometimes. You can still reach and still mobilize some people with it. So, it's hard for everybody to pay attention to everything that's going on. That's why, if you have some people trying to at least, amalgamate or get a lot of the news that is important to show to people that are busy, and that you can show them the stories that the news isn't showing you. Like, you look in America and you see how, they were showing this one story in the States, right? Where there's this one white kid and he was like beating up this one black kid or something on the ground or wrestling him or something. It was like, they were like both 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 or something. Right. And it was like a big issue, blah, blah, blah. But the media like CNN or all these other cable stations that make huge issues about white on black violence, etc. Don't talk about Minneapolis with that one white guy that got attacked by like a group of like 15 black kids or something like that, got run over with a bicycle and like, brutally attacked. And then some other guy who just got killed by getting punched. And people are trying to make excuses for it already, and they're trying to release his police records to be like, this guy's a Nazi, and he was a Nazi, so he deserved to get punched by these 2 kids and die or something. But apparently they asked him for like $1 or something, right? And the media is not going to report on these things and try to make it a big issue, which I don't think they should make things like that necessarily a big issue and start to create racial and shit problems. But you see the media is watching the media talk about it, and they're like, these suspects attacked this one male and they're only attacking them because they're drunk or something. But it's like, all these people are white. They're all being attacked because they're white a lot of the times. But good luck ever getting a hate crime against any other group if you're a white person. That's why, I don't give a fuck about a lot of this racist shit that people like to bitch and moan about. That's stupid and ridiculous and not racist at all. And when people actively say the most racist shit about white people, it's condoned by the media, and it's promoted, and people find no issue with it. So no, I don't give a shit. Until you start giving a shit about being a racist to everybody, then I'll start taking you seriously. But until that happens, shut up. Stop complaining about racism in Canada, or go back to your country, frankly, because the only people that can really complain about racism are like Native Americans, or Aboriginals in Canada. But everybody else has come here voluntarily, so they can shut the fuck up and go back to your country. That's what I have to say every single time. It's like, You came here voluntarily. You got on a plane and you picked Canada to come, even though you knew we were a bunch of fucking racists. So tough luck. You showed up, and you know, and it's not a racist country to begin with, anyways, right? And yes, there are racist people that exist, blah blah blah. But the whole idea of things is now is like it's structural racism, it's systematic racism, which is not. It's not. How is it structural racism? Like I don't get it. They just say these things. They don't really put much. Well, you can walk across the street and without worrying about getting mugged or something or whatever. It's not structural racism, for fuck's sakes. Gotta hate these people. But here, let me show this one video. Speaking about structural racism and stuff, these kids, they were complaining about, I guess, this blackface thing that happened in their school. And I like the thing that the girl said at the very end. She showed up and she's just like, but you'll see.
I'm not proud to be a CSU Ram. That is the feeling of almost every student in this overcrowded ballroom.
I have felt targeted, ridiculed, unwelcomed, and isolated for being a woman of color.
A pain that CSU students say they felt and witnessed for years.
There have been people called the N-word, been spit on, had things thrown at them. People don't even walk their way because they look different.
This chick looks white to me.
4 years of CSU.
This girl, listen to this girl.
This has been built up for 4 years of CSU being complicit, CSU hiding behind freedom of speech.
Hear that? Hiding behind freedom of speech. I always hear this line from these people. It's always the same line. Oh, it's either they're hiding behind freedom of speech. They're hiding behind it. No.
Then go back. If it's so fucking horrible here, just get on a plane and go back with your own people. Why are you trying to come here and criticize the fuck out of us if we're so bad? Like, you got these people are such fucking hypocrites. Liberals are like the left are the biggest fucking hypocrites. If you don't like it here, then go back. Like, honestly, what was the, I know, because you get free health care, free this, welfare, blah, blah, blah. That's why you came here. And now you want to turn it into the shithole that you ran away from.
Right. Well, that's the thing, Well, all these people are completely brainwashed. I have an article from McLean's talking about this one girl where
brainwashing only works on stupid people.
Well,
by the way.
well, sure, whatever. Like, there's lots of stupid people in the world, man, and like, smart people can be brainwashed, and those are probably the worst type of brainwashed people there are, because they're the hardest to convince. They're the ones that convince themselves, because they're so fucking smart a lot of the times, that that they're so fucking right or whatever. They'll feed into their own delusions as well. Like, some people that are less intelligent can be easier to convince sometimes, but not to say that all these people are geniuses either. But I don't know about this girl, but smart people can be manipulated as well too. I'm just gonna say it's just stupid people, but let's just say.
And CSU not doing
She needs to go on Jenny Craig, man.
Right. But like, that's the thing though. It's like, yeah, they're hiding behind freedom of speech. Right. Yeah. It's like, nobody's oppressing you other than your own hand and fork. That's weighing you down. That's the only thing weighing you down, society.
Ever notice?
Yeah.
Like, I noticed something with my daughter. She made the comment, but I'm not going to repeat it here. Is when we walk around and she sees these ninjas, she said, "Dad, why are they all overweight?" You could tell they're overweight. And I said, "That's why they're like that. That's why they adopt that, because you put it." Women like to compete with each other. It's a fact, man. They'll look at they'll stare each other down and they'll rate each other all the time. And you know what? That's why they like being covered from head to toe. But the thing is, black is a beautiful color to show the contours, and those contours are not good, right? So, like, I mean, lady, go on Jenny Craig, put on a bikini, you'll get some stares, you'll feel good about yourself, and you'll start loving Western society. Other than that, fuck off.
Right.
Honestly,
She looks like a new Muslim too. Like she just recently converted.
yeah.
I don't trust her legitimacy.
Steve says if she went on Jenny Craig would be dead. Fuck. Okay.
I gotta refresh it or something. It like kind of
Yeah.
paused.
Stupid Twitter.
That is the feeling of almost
Shut up.
People won't even walk their way because they look different.
This has been built up for 4 years of CSU being complicit, CSU hiding behind freedom of speech, and CSU not doing anything to show students of color and show.
Is she on ephedrine or is she having trouble talking?
The university's president said this picture of freshmen in blackface didn't violate school policies and was protected under free speech. Numerous students called out Joyce McConnell for supporting racists.
I am genuinely embarrassed for these students and the people who choose to entertain their disturbing behavior.
Yet not everyone in the
Now this girl is the best here.
student government meeting agreed.
Hate speech is included in free speech. I'm sorry, but you have to get a thicker skin sometime.
Oh shit! That was not the correct Twitter face, man.
Oh, I love it.
Cedric just figured out that you can't reason with these people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you have to get a thicker skin sometime.
Look how mad they are though. Like
Several students spoke of
she's gonna be the one who's gonna be harassed and bullied, man. Like
I don't know. Look at her, man. She looks like a Terminatrix.
I know. Look at her face. Yeah, she's just like, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just like looked at this one girl like, what? but yeah, right. So look at all the people looking at her. They're like, what? How could she say get a thicker skin and to not be an emotional little child? What? How is that? That's crazy. Like, you know. Get over yourselves, for fuck's sakes. Nobody cares about your fucking feelings, for fuck's sakes. But
You know what? Actually, somebody just mentioned in the chat. It was Julie. She says she puts on charcoal mask on her face, the women thing, right? And my wife does that like almost daily. So I'm gonna take a picture of my wife and just plaster it everywhere. And I'm just gonna watch the lefties freak. Oh look, she's got freaking blackface on. No, you shitheads. It's just the fucking charcoal mask. That'll be the best freaking troll ever.
right.
And what are you gonna troll a Chinese woman because she put on charcoal mask? That's hilarious.
Right. Yeah, but speaking of another woman here what's her name? She got a new show that Indian
Lily Singh. Oh, she's terrible. She's terrible.
I got a clip from her, right? And from her show. Not audience cheers at jokes. Okay, I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one here. So this is just like I'll only subject you guys to 39 seconds of her because clearly, any more than that would be torture or something. But
No. Don't play this one. Play the one where she's actually. Okay, you can play. There's a better
39
one.
seconds.
Okay. There's a better one.
There's probably a better one. Just send it to me.
Yeah.
It's been tough for us. It's hard out here. But I get it because it's also tough for you. Listen, I understand that for some people, white people, seeing someone like me host a show is terrible.
I just hate the fucking implications constantly in everything you see. White people. I know white people really don't like to see me here. They're probably the majority of your fucking audience, you idiot. Then they're like stupid, cucky white people. Yay. You're right. We don't like you. It's like, no. You're going to fail. See, she's getting ready for her failure. right? She knows she's gonna fail, so she's like, she's priming us for, well, you're all racist and don't like to see me here. So when the ratings fall flat and nobody likes her crap, she's gonna blame it on racism. You know, this is the girl where a bunch of guys, she was like the #1 YouTuber or something. And
Oh,
then
she's like 3 million. Like she's got a lot of subs on YouTube.
well, she was the #1 YouTuber for a while or something like that, and all these men surpassed her, and then she was calling it all sexism or something because PewDiePie and all these. It's like, it's sexist that people sub to their channels and not yours or something. Like, and then they give her a show. It's like,
Oh, she's terrible.
You know this in life. This is so true in life, and it's just true in most things. The person who cries and bitches and moans the loudest, gets what they want. Guess what they want? A lot of the times, right? It's I'm racism, sexism. Give me a job. Okay, all right, just shut up. Here you go, take it. Like, leave me alone.
Oh, last night's clip was the worst. She kept going on and on. She's like, did you know I'm actually a bisexual? Did you know nobody wants me because of my color? Did you know I have a big house? She's so fucking insecure. She is so insecure. I'm glad she left Toronto.
Right.
Like,
hit the like and share, guys. Sorry, go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, no. So, this is, again, these companies are like stupid because they keep hiring these people and they're just going to go broke. Like, she's signed on. I don't know how long her contract is, but you could tell. I don't know if there's a couple of other scenes there. They show the audience. It's just women. And it's like only like the first and second row. There's nobody else there in the audience.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to last beyond December.
The thing is, it's like, you look at the movies and stuff, and whenever they come out Rotten Tomatoes, and you look at the celebrities when they come out Rotten Tomatoes and stuff. I mean, the comedians like Bill Burr's recent stand-up and Dave Chappelle's, and the audience, the people, they love them. Most people love it, and then the critics hate it. Right. And then when it comes to the critics and these people, the leftists in Hollywood and shit, they're like, oh, she's so great and witty and funny and blah, 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 blah. But most people are going to be like, she's just, nah. Even if they're on the left and they're liberals, they're going to be like, this is just not funny. Like, I can't watch this. You can't just force yourself to watch something. Or maybe you can because of your ideology or something. It's like, this is really bad, but I know I'm supposed to watch this. It's like, no, she's gonna fail.
And I think what happens is because when these videos come out, they get a huge downvoting, and then give it about an hour or two, the downvotes seem to go away, and the upvotes go through the roof. So there's a lot of bots going on with this. YouTube's really trying to promote this shit.
Yeah. And and because the one thing I kind of like about being banned from Twitter is that the Twitter that I do use, it's like, it lets me still kind of log into it, but all my kind of history and shit is more or less wiped, like the fact that I was on it, but I can still kind of look at some stuff. But it always
while I was in the waiting room, by the way.
But it always promotes to me the stuff that, what do you call it, is promoted to the general audience, of Twitter and stuff, right? Because most people have a curated thing to some extent, but it's all like constant leftist shit all the time, and you're just like, always, and you're like, okay, this is what they're doing, and they're always pushing Lily Singh or pushing Greta Thunberg or this person or that person or this new leftist or something, and you're like, nah, fuck this. But let's finish this little bit of her though. Just it's only like 20 seconds more.
Terrifying. Hashtag not my Carson Daly. But honestly, maybe I'm just the beginning. Maybe all of your favorite movies and TV shows are gonna get a minority remake. But in all seriousness,
they already are getting minority remakes.
Yep, pretty much across the board. Little Mermaid.
Everything. You know, everything. Literally everything. There's nothing. I saw every other day I see something new about Denzel Washington's gonna play Zeus or something. You know, like yeah, take our actual gods or pagan gods and make them into different races. You know, it's like that's what they are. You know what I mean? Like these gods, these pagan gods. These are the gods of Europeans. They're European gods and shit, right? But you know, yeah, I shared this one guy on Discord. I forget his name, something Jive, but he's got a bunch of stuff about history and like the Anglo Saxons and the what do you call it, the Indo Europeans, right? And you guys should look him up. He's pretty interesting. I guess I'll try to find him and share him in the chat. But he's got some really interesting stuff, and he does talk a lot about the history of Indo Europeans and stuff. And
What's that, Maziman?
What's the name one more time?
It's not Mazaman. I shared it in Discord.
Oh, okay. Yes, I remember. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Just the other day. If you look in there, you'll see it. Here, I'll try to find it.
I can post it if you want.
Yeah. He's got some interesting stuff. Yeah, post it.
Let me post it for you guys.
Post it for the chat. And I'd recommend checking out his stuff. He's pretty interesting. Seems fairly knowledgeable. You know, I'm not saying everything he's saying is 100% accurate or something. You know, take everything with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, I've watched a bunch of his content lately and stuff, and some pretty cool stuff. And yeah, you're just talking about the Indo-Europeans and stuff. And see, this girl, she probably is partly Indo-European as well, because the Indo-Europeans are the ones that came into India, or there's lots of evidence to suggest that they're the ones that came into northern India and were the Aryan group or whatever, right? And even in their own text, their own like religion, it has a story of people from the northern steppes, which is where the Indo-Europeans came from. And Europeans are a mixture of like Indo-Europeans as well as Western hunter-gatherers, as well as Neolithic farmers from the Middle East. So this combination of three creates like a European, essentially, to different varying degrees, right? Some people have more Indo-European, some people have more, but these people, they have Indo-European.
I don't have any Indo-European. I am pure Slavic.
But that's where they came from. They came from the Russian steppes, the Indo-Europeans, right?
So no, we're pure white, pure white.
Yeah. Well, no. See, that's a part of our heritage. That's a part of the group that makes European. But these people have her specifically. They got the whole caste system as well too in India.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
and same with their language is also derived from Indo-European. This language that they use, not all languages in India, because some of them are I forget the other Dravidian. That's the other root of language, but all Indo-European languages are connected. Like French, English, German. This even like I said, their language is also in there as well. They're all connected, and even their religion is also very connected as well with some of the old Viking type pagan gods, and have a lot of similarities. And like I said, their language and all this other stuff. So there's lots of evidence to suggest that they were colonized by the Indo-Europeans and stuff at one point or another. But let's see here. Where did she go? She just let's finish this though.
Yeah. Be joking about.
But you're white. No, she's not. She's not white.
Fears of white America is that minorities are coming to take their jobs. You know what I mean? And honestly, we are.
It'd be funny if it wasn't true.
Yep.
Woo! Yeah, they're gonna be a minority in 2050. I mean 2040. Woo! It's like.
Yeah, and then they'll go back to shitting on the beach on Q Beach there in Toronto.
Yeah, well, they got the signs put up now, so people don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Do they like how can they not do that anymore? They can't. Half of them can't read.
Well, it's written in signs, so it's like they make signs for the aliens with pictures on it, like
With pooping.
so that way the aliens know.
Right. Let's check out the thing from there's a PBC candidate that the Canadian Anti-Hate Network has uncovered some racist tweets. And
Wow.
I looked up this guy's his Twitter account, and it's gone. It's just completely gone now.
Shocker.
So Ontario PPC candidate published racist transphobic tweets. Yellow people been working since 5 a.m. Black people up at noon, says one post. See, and that's the thing. This is the only one that's kind of like, I guess, a little racist or something, but
yeah, but it's
come on, is that true? Let's be. Is it kind of true?
Yeah,
it's kind of true, right?
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. But either way, he was responding to somebody, right? And I wanted to see the context, right? Because he said something about the context, right? As a kind of an excuse, and I wanted to see that, but. So they're like, oh, the People's Party candidates, blah, blah, blah. And this is the tweet. And see, that's the thing, they're just showing, they didn't do a very good investigation, CBC and the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. You can tell that they just took whatever the Canadian Anti-Hate Network gave to them and just copy pasted it or something. Because, why don't we know? When did he delete his account? Why don't we know what he was responding to? Maybe it would have cleared a lot of things up, perhaps. But no, we're not going to get that opportunity now. But this is another thing. He responded to Kelly Day. So this is Kelly R. Day. So, hey, Kelly, I can't wrap my head around the whole gender thing. Either stand or sit where I come from. Hey, maybe it's me, gender confused. Because I don't get it. Binary, non-binary, geez, Mother Nature will rule on it eventually. Be sure of that. So that was a bad tweet, apparently. I don't understand why that's a bad tweet. But, just saying anything sort of bad about trannies is just bad these days, I guess.
It's the mafia, right? The alphabet mafia.
Look at the exposure those tweets got. 1 retweet and 2 likes. That's really going far, man. He's causing a big problem in Canada by spreading this misinformation and hurtful, disrespectful comments.
Right. And this is the Canadian Anti-Hate Network doing all this research on literally every single candidate, right? Is in the PPC is if the is being vetted by these people 100%, right? So if you are in the party, be sure that these people know everything about you already, or as much as they can know, right? So this is executive director of WE Trans Support, Jace Carver, said she doesn't understand why cisgender people care so much. What is that in the background there? I hear some I think that's you, Chattel, there.
Oh, it might be. I apologize about that.
Watch, maybe put the mic a little further.
Yep.
I'm exhausted by this, said Carver. Transgender continually have to defend who we are as people. Being trans doesn't affect cisgender people other than having to learn a couple new pronouns. Yeah, or being fined $50,000, by the Human Rights Tribunal. That's one thing. Carver said she wishes cisgender people would come at the topic with more empathy. Gonna mute you for a second there, Bad, because you just try to fix your mic issue because it's a little bit distracting with that. Cape said he doesn't agree with racism in any way, shape, or form. Oh yeah, okay, this is another tweet. He said, I will be the proud white dude hiding in plain sight in a hijab, thinking everybody should wear one. Might be good for black flies too. I don't know. I guess that's racist or Islamophobic or something. they're really reaching for straws here, right? Or grasping for straws. Cape says he doesn't agree with racism anyway. I will defend anyone in a different race myself that's reflected by a cheap stereotype, blah, blah, blah. And then he's responding to Sarah Reese Jones. I don't know who this is. Smoke crack much? This made me want to vote for the guy. I'm like, I like
This guy's funny, man.
I know. Smoke crack much? Tell you what, we take Trump right fucking now and you get Trudeau. You have no clue, you arrogant bitch.
Oh shit!
I know, right?
Look at this guy. I'd vote for him. Where is he located?
You're in the Ontario riding of Bill Capes. Vote for Bill Capes if he's still in the party. Like I said, I went to his Twitter and it's gone. It's like that account doesn't exist. And I was like, what the fuck? Why doesn't it exist?
Oh man, this guy's great. This guy's great. He'd be awesome in Parliament. I want to put him in Parliament just because of his attitude. I like this guy.
There's always people responding to him. No thanks, racist. So this was 6 hours ago. I'm just looking at right now on Twitter. So this wasn't too long ago. He must have just deleted it, or his account got deleted by Twitter maybe for his racist tweets. I don't know, right? Way your party, can you really be accused of behaving exactly the way your party expects you to behave? So okay, yeah. So I don't know. I was just looking at it. There's only a couple people replying that even know about this, but on Twitter, right? Not a lot. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought someone in the chat said they found him on Facebook or something, but I think I'm wrong.
Did they? Well, he might be on Facebook. I haven't checked his Facebook. I should check that. But he's gone from Twitter and what's his name? He's gone from the chat.
I think we lost Captain.
Okay. I was gonna unmute him right there, but I want to show this one thing here. This is a funny video. 1 sec here. Oh, cunt.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Like Spy Patriot says, he says, just say sorry and it's all good.
Right. Just say sorry.
Yep.
I fucking hate white enablers. Sidewalk. So let me just check out the chat here a little bit. I haven't interacted with you guys for a little bit. Based AJ. Yeah, I know I'm based, man. We was Vikings and shit. We was Vikings and shit. She probably is partially white. But yeah, got the Anglo-Saxon whatever shit. Were they really starting to shit on the beaches? I hope not. Guilty of being white, imagine that. Why can we not make fun of each other? Oh yeah, you know what I forgot to do too is I can put your guys' tweets on. Laugh out loud. Vikings are superior. Yes, they are. You know who they're superior to, Maiden? The Greeks. They're superior to the Greeks. Just gonna lay that out there for you. Nah, I'm kidding. Greeks are pretty dope too. Pretty dope, but they don't have. I don't think much. They do have Indo-Aryan, but I don't think it's much. It's complicated. Like I'm no expert in it. That's why I suggest checking out that guy's channel. He's got some interesting stuff. Can you Frederick? Can you please sing?
Kuche moje miliva. Kuche.
No.
I'm not gonna sing it.
Is it some Polish thing?
I don't know. I have to look it up.
Some
Kuche is like
European crap.
I'm not singing anything.
I hear that. I hear that shit.
Come on, man. You get the full whiteness in you. It'll flow through your veins.
Yeah, okay. A lot of those people are mixed with Asian.
Boss man, what the hell are you talking about? Greeks are not white. It's
they're white. They're white. Well, close. They're close. They're white. We'll call them that. Kidding. Let's. Oh yeah, I'm already sharing it. Oh yeah. So this is a video from a vegan, and
Oh, is this a new one? I've seen so many. Like, they're
Yeah.
getting the shit kicked. There's one in
Hilarious.
Mexico. They got the shit kicked out of them by cowboys.
No, this isn't that. It's just some woman sobbing at a
Oh my
cow
God.
being like taken away, and this guy's like, John Oberg. What is he? What did he say? I'm so sorry they took your baby. And when I went to this guy's tweet, it shows like, oh, he hid replies. So I'm like, what replies did he hide here? I'm just like, moving hamburgers, you know. So he hit all these replies, right? So best part of summer is walking the dog at 6 p.m., then stopping to catch a giant whiff of someone's barbecue. I pert near, get a boner. Your baby tastes so freaking good with barbecue sauce. Give me my baby back ribs. Sounds like you've never farmed or been on a farm. She laughed at the stupidity of the idiot who was trying to talk to a heifer. That's the thing. Yeah, these are heifers, right? So they've never had cattle, right? They've never had calves. It's a cow, you know. So people are just making fun of him.
Sorry, what's a heifer? I don't know. Like, I know these are
It's
black
not-
and white.
They're
just for
not
dairy.
They haven't bred yet.
Oh, okay.
They've
Aren't
never
these
had
dairy
babies.
cows? These are black and white, right? I don't know anything.
I
they
think
beef?
those are dairy.
Okay.
I think dairy. I don't know.
Well, if they're dairy, all they're doing is taking milk, right? What?
Listen. She's crying. All right, hold on. Your laugh will take away.
All right.
I'm so sorry they took your baby.
The cow's like, this bitch is crazy, and it runs away.
I know. She's like, I'm so sorry it took your baby.
Sorry they took your baby.
Shut the hell up. He's happy. He hated that little shit. Hated that shit. Yeah, that cow is ecstatic, but you know, this is just funny, right? To see people react like that.
Islam is right about cows.
Yeah, right. Islam is right about cows. It's so right about cows.
They're tasty.
Or you know what? No, Indians are right about cows. You know,
Even better, yeah. No, these people, I don't understand. Like, especially people who are extremely empathetic. They have it's a mental disease, right? You can't be that overly emotional about shit like that. I can understand having some feelings for animals and whatnot, but taking it to that extreme, you're detached from humanity at that point.
Right. Yeah. No, it's you know, I don't know what's happened to society. Yeah, we just haven't been connected to nature for such a long time that we don't remember what life is like. You know, like you need to oftentimes take another life form to live, you know, to have sustenance and stuff. And you know, we got to think about how we evolved too. We evolved in little hunter-gatherer societies where we did what? You know, we weren't eating fruits and vegetables, and that wasn't the majority of our diets. We've been eating meat for hundreds of thousands or millions of years at the very least, right? You know, there's monkeys eat meat. There's evidence of monkeys eating meat and killing monkeys and eating them. So it's probably millions and millions of years old within humans to kill animals to see this and you know, be able to process it and get nutrients. Because if you were not able to process death and the death of seeing like a baby squirrel die because you needed to eat it. If you couldn't handle that, you would starve. You would starve in the natural world. So now we have these people that aren't exposed to living in the natural world, that aren't exposed to this, and they lose their shit and they cry and moan and bitch when a baby cow is being taken away from a fucking herd of other cows, and like, oh my god, like they had no perspective whatsoever.
Yet these people would probably be okay with eating bugs and dead human corpses. You know what I mean? To save the planet. So how's that any different? And besides, a lot of these people, like for example, what's her name? The Thornburg chick, right? The little retard. She stated that she's a vegan, right? And veganism actually creates what do you call it? Low chemicals or some kind of hormones in your body that actually depresses you, and you start to lose your hair, you start to thin out. So you need protein. These people need to take supplements, protein supplements, and still it's not enough like you would get out of a steak or piece of pork or something like that. So these people are just clueless. They think, and it's almost a cult now. Because I remember people used to tell me they're vegetarian, and it's cool, it's all good. They'll have an egg or something, and now they've taken it to the extreme where it's a cult. And if you're not part of that cult, if you eat meat, now if you want to be a part of that cult, I don't give a shit. But when you need to come to me in my restaurant and start harassing me about because I'm eating a fucking burger, I'm gonna like stomp you. That's bullshit. It's getting tiresome with these people. They will not let you be at peace.
Right. And there was a couple parents a little while ago that I think they were sued or charged with child negligence because their kid was like their 10-year-old 12-year-old was like 30 pounds or something. It's like, feed your kid food, he needs food to live. Like I said, we evolved eating food. We evolved eating meat. We didn't evolve eating grains and grasses and shit. We can eat grasses to some extent, but we can't. We have to process the fuck out of them. Animals. Vegans will be like, oh, see, we eat tons of grasses, grains, and this and that. It's like, yeah, we can eat like the seeds, and then we have to like cook them and pound them and do all this shit to them. Can't eat grass like a fucking cow can eat grass or anything like that. So, it's essential. So, if we're not eating meat, if we're not doing that, then and we're not actually experiencing nature, then you're going to have these people that can't handle just basic life, and they're going to need safe spaces and shit. And they're going to go into people's private property and, get rid of free their chickens or free their pigs or cattle that cost the farmer thousands of dollars, tons of money. And they're just going to go ruin their business. They did this in Alberta or something a little while ago, and none of these people had charges against them. They went to some guy's farm and started to protest or something or whatever. I can't remember, but it's private property. There should be punishment for that shit. Speaking of private property, I have this one article, I guess, one sec here, where this one guy, he's being charged by the guy he shot on his own private property because a guy, came and tried to steal some shit from him, and he shot him, and now they're like, oh, this is bullshit. One second here, former.
And while you're looking for that, I posted a link in our chat. The link I just posted is vegans protesting at a Mexican stampede, and the cowboys just rustled them and threw them out of the ring. It was really cool. Like they can't get away with this shit in other countries. Only in the West where we're kind of more passive with these people. But it's kind of funny. When you get a chance, you can play it.
One sec here. Did I accidentally delete that article? I might have. I don't know. Or no, I don't. No, I got it. The National. Is it a fucking tweet? Why can't I fucking see it? Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. Because I didn't recognize the symbol. But, Alberta man who fired warning shots at bandits is now being sued for damages by one of them. Ryan Watson says injuries sustained to his right forearm in February 2018 caused severe damages and disability, and is suing Edouard Maurice for $100,000. So Edouard Maurice, the Alberta father who was hauled before a judge for firing warning shots at bandits on his property, is now being sued by the man who that night on his land outside Okotoks was hit by a ricocheting bullet and hospitalized. Sorry. In court documents filed in Calgary on September 6th, Ryan Watson says injuries sustained, caused, damages, yada, yada, yada. As Watson was fleeing without warning, Maurice attempted to scare Watson by shooting a .22 caliber in his direction, but, accidentally hit the guy in the arm, right? And, the thing is about this case is that, in Canada, I think you should have the right to shoot people on your own property. And, that should just be the right. I don't care. I know people are going to be like, but what if this and what if that? It's like, no. You know what? There'll be a lot less burglaries, a lot less thefts and all this stuff if you had the ability to shoot somebody if they're like at your front door or something and you don't want them there. Like, maybe not like, if they're like trying to break into your house or something, right? Or they're trying to get into your house. You would see burglaries and people trying to breaking, entering decrease dramatically because nobody wants to be shot. And the few people that do are going to get shot and killed, and the person is going to be totally fine. The person who did that, because it's your property. You don't know if the person coming onto your property is trying to rape your children, kill.
Oh, don't you get it? You're supposed to ask. You're supposed to say, "Excuse me, sir, are you planning to murder my family? Yes or no? Please fill out this little stamp of approval so I know now I can get my weapon."
Yeah. You're like, hey, he pulls out a gun and shoots you. You're like, shit, I should have got him when I had a chance. It's like, like, I was just stealing all your stuff. Why did you shoot me?
And then the police come like an hour later. What happened? Yeah,
right.
stupid.
And like Reverend Jim says there, rural property crime is on the rise all over. And this is what the article states as well.
Oh,
too.
it is true. It is true. In my neighborhood, ever since they let in these migrants and just in general, like all these other groups other than the Chinese, it's gone up by 50%. We have more break-ins than we've ever had before in this community. It used to be a very quiet community.
Right. Well, yeah. And it's rural areas too, and that's what's happening. These people, often Aboriginal descent, go on to farmers' properties, like what happened with that one huge case where they're like, this is racist, and how could this Colton Boushie get off scot-free? He shot this guy. It's like they were doing the same thing that these fuckers were doing. They're going on their property, trying to steal shit, and then they got shot and killed. Oh, well. Teach your kids not to steal things, not to go on property, and they won't be shot. Like, it's as simple as that, really. I feel sorry for your kid. Maybe he was stupid or something. I apologize, but you should have raised them better. And then they wouldn't have been in a situation where they're going to get shot. And then now they want to take away gun rights. I think even Trudeau intervened or, talked in that case and said that, like, it was horrible, the decision. So essentially, they wanted this guy's head. And, they want to take away the ability for farmers, for people to protect themselves on their own property. It's like, well, just let them steal it, and then we'll never find them, and then you're going to lose your property, and we're not going to reimburse you of this stolen property either. If we find it, we'll give it back to you. But if we don't, you're just going to have to eat the loss. These people are not going to be reimbursed by the government when somebody comes and steals their shit. They have incentive to protect themselves. The cops don't give a fuck. right?
No, they don't. They don't. And like, I mean, even if they give a fuck, even like, let's say something starts to happen and you call the police, it takes them between 30 to 40 minutes to get to your place. It's usually they come up just to clean up the crime scene. You know, at the heat of the moment, you need to be able to protect yourself. It's kind of ridiculous that you can't. And I think that maybe they've used the excuse like, well, there was accidental shots, but I don't think it's that high as they purport to be. So,
Right. Yeah. You know, and but yeah, you know that, and it's increasing though, that rural crime. Let me just check out the video you sent. I think this is the one here. Vegan stage protest during rodeo.
yeah, and then there's another one with the blackface. Yeah, but that's the vegan stage protest at the rodeo. It was hilarious, man. That's like true cowboys. Mexicans don't fuck around.
Let's see here. Vegans. Okay. Mexicans. These are Mexicans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the thing about Mexico and all these other countries too. You know, it's like, look at the way that they treat their people, or their vegans, or they're this, or they're that, and you know, they just treat them like shit. And it's funny, and I'm not saying we should do what they do necessarily, but at the same time, you know, like you say, you know, you look in the only place where political correctness and all this shit is infecting the world it seems to be in like Western countries, right? You know, you look in China or all these other countries, they do whatever the fuck they want on their TV because they don't give a fuck who they're offending, because they're all Chinese, or this, or Mexico, or whomever, right? They don't care, because they're like, oh well, we're all Mexican anyways, or all this and that anyways. But it's only in our multicultural countries where it becomes a massive issue, because then all these people just like, oh, this is blackface, you know, this is a problem, and you know, yada yada yada. And you know what? It's only, I don't know why I'm hearing an echo or something, but for some reason it's only white people that seem to actually care about the environment, right? A lot of the times. Like, I don't know about these. It's not all only white people. Of course, there's some other people, but they're the only countries that are taking huge, drastic measures and shit are the people who want to take drastic measures and who want to destroy their economies seem to be Western countries. They're like, these are the only people that want to fucking spend $3 a liter for gasoline because it's too cheap or something, right? You know, we need to spend more money for everything, so then we stop using stuff.
Yep.
Watch this.
They start running.
See, you know what? Our Western bullshit is like infecting these young girls' minds, and are going to put them in danger in their fucking country with the crazy fucking people and shit, like, right? Like,
Gargamel, what the fuck are you talking about? White people destroyed the environment for the past 300 years. No, I really, this guy is just. What do you mean by the past 300 years? What were you doing in 300 years? The country's only been 150 years old.
He means we created all the wealth that is currently being enjoyed at this current moment within the past 300 years. We wouldn't even be talking right now. Shut up, Gargamel. You can thank us for penicillin while you're at it, and all these other great things that come with us destroying the planet. That
tuberculosis and all of that other shit.
The planet's destroyed, but it yet has 7 billion, 8 billion people on it. Well, we did a pretty shitty job at destroying the planet when somehow the population, before the maximum capacity the world could hold was like 1 billion people.
Dude, do you use a cell phone? Do you use a computer right now that you're sitting in front and typing that shit up? That's because of the Industrial Revolution. Fuck.
Right. But we killed the planet. And nobody cares about the fucking planet, about the fucking climate anyways. No, it's not being destroyed. There's not a climate crisis. There's not a climate thing. We need to change everything because in 6 years we're all going to die. Stop buying into the bullshit. Hey, India can pollute, can pump as much coal, can burn as much coal as they want. China can burn as much coal as they want. African countries can burn as many of their trees and as many of their things to make coal and shit as they want. I don't give a shit. Do that. I don't care. Go ahead. Heat your homes. It's the climate and the environmentalists that are going into countries like Africa and saying, hey, stop burning that coal. Stop doing this. Stop doing that as well. And now they're using all this other shit that they're supplying them and whatnot. But no, I have no part in it. I don't care. Nobody's buying into this bullshit other than stupid leftists like fucking Gargamel and shit. But everybody else in the whole planet knows it's bullshit except for us because we're stupid enough to give all of our money away to third world fucking countries who are just going to give that money to dictators and do or go in and train their people to come in and replace us later on. So, Gargamel's an idiot.
Watch this. Watch this. One guy. Watch what happens to this guy. Yank. Kick. Watch this. Watch the guy in the white. I love it. That was great.
Adios, amigos.
They don't care. They'll just lasso your ass and drag you out. Man, you gotta have a death wish to fuck around with Mexicans. You know what I mean? Like these people Mexicans hang like dead bodies on bridges and shit. Pretty dumb. They're just crushing everybody.
Those bastards.
Did you want to play that video of John Ward's song about blackface? That was funny too. It's
John Ward.
Yeah, John Ward's blackface video. Here, let me re-put it in the chat just so it's fresh and stuff.
Yeah,
that was a good.
We'll watch that in a bit
later?
there.
Okay,
a little bit later here. I want to share Trudeau. What is this one? Martel launches first gender. Oh yeah. Well, I guess we'll. I don't know if anybody's seen this yet. I'll just to show you guys. Exclusive. Mattel launches first gender neutral doll. So now you got some gender neutral dolls to play with for your kids.
Kids don't play with dolls anymore. They play video games. Like, look at that.
This is just another woke attempt by a company to be like, we're woke. Buy our shit. But, I don't think it's going to be that successful. They're there are not that many people that I think are into trans. I think these companies, a lot of them are completely misreading the market or something, because I don't think these trans toys are going to sell out. Maybe they will, but I'm going to bet they won't. And it's going to be a wasted investment, to make all these models of these kids that are, you can't tell what gender they are. It's like, am I a boy? Am I a girl? I don't know.
Yeah, they tried to do that with fucking Voltron and She-Ra, and it just didn't pan out. Like I didn't think She-Ra went beyond 2 seasons, and Voltron was like 3 seasons until they started like putting all that gay shit that wasn't really necessary. And
Right.
they really started putting it hard into the 3rd season, and my kids just said, screw it. Instead, you know what they like watching? Final Space. None of that shit is injected into that adult cartoon show, but it's funny, right?
Final Space.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. It's a lot like I would say it's like Futurama meets Family Guy.
Okay.
I'm sure some people have heard it in the chat. They're on their 2nd season, so it's really, really funny. Julie Mora says when she used to play with dolls, she wanted him to be as girly as possible.
Right. Sorry, I was taking a bog rip there.
No worries.
But so I was like, keep talking. But
Thundercats roar, it's horrible.
yeah. Exactly. When she played with dolls, it was as girly as possible, because most boys don't play with dolls, and if they do, it's because they're like trying to destroy them. Maybe some of them are a little curious or something, but if they are, that doesn't mean you give them pills to turn them into a tranny either. So what's another thing? This is a thing that from the guy from Canada Land, though, Jonathan Goldsby. Right, Gold. So yes, Maxime Bernier is meeting with a room full of white people at the Toronto Star. So, see, what I notice now, what I try to notice more is the way people use the term white people, right? And how if you just switch it with anything else, so yes, Maxime Bernier is meeting with a room full of Jews at the Toronto Star. Doesn't sound as good now, does it? So yes, Maxime Bernier is meeting with a room full of black people at the Toronto Star. It's so yes. You know what I mean? Like, if you just keep applying this to a lot of the things that people, and just switch the terms, and you'll see how fucked it is. But these far left journalists are always mad at CBC and like other far left publications often for not being far left enough, and they're like, "Oh, this is not how you cover us white supremacists, you idiots. You got to say you're a bad person every time they say something whenever you're discussing with them." But this isn't just an editorial board, but all the senior reporters and editors who've been invited to participate. I'd say this might be a thing for the public editor to examine, but she's one of the people taking part of the meeting. This is a master class in how not to interview figures from the far right. So he's got a little interview.
Correspondence from readers before you came here, criticizing us for inviting what they call a white supremacist. Or seriously, I can show you the emails.
No, I believe you. Yeah, but that's crazy.
Or they brand you as Mad Max.
Yeah, I'm mad about what's happening in this country. You're right.
Respond to them.
But first of all, yes, Mad Max, I'm mad. I'm mad about the deficit that we're having. I'm mad for the future generation that they will have to pay this deficit. As you know, the deficit of today are the taxes of tomorrow. So I'm mad that we have a federal government that don't want to have any discussion about immigration. Absolutely. But I'm pleased that you decided to invite me because it's a democratic debate. I'm pleased that Mr. Johnson, the commissioner, invite us. We represent some Canadians that are sharing our views. Like I said, 49% of Canadians want to have fewer immigrants. We're the only one.
He cuts it off right there when he's like, 40
Yeah.
Canadians want less immigrants and this and that. Oh, yeah. Shut up about that. We don't want you here. But I just love just this fucking Jew. Frankly, this Jew guy. It's just like, look at all these white people hanging out, right? But he's pretending to be white at the same time and just being like, I'm just one of these woke white people. But then behind closed doors, he's like, I'm not really white. Or when people press him on it, I really don't like this back and forth shit that a lot of these people do. Let's see here. Let's check out the chat for a second. Let's check on Mad Max. Take us to Gastown. People like turtle chocolates. I got what? Hey, Maiden Liberty, how's it going? Hey, CC. Let's see here. I could put another comment in the chat or something. But yeah, so let's see here. What else I got to share? I'm gonna get rid of this article. One moment. Oh yeah, I want to share this thing from CTV news reporter from Rebel Media, who went and is that redheaded reporter guy?
Oh, David Menzies?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the younger one, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
He's new. I forgot his name.
All right. So I'm gonna play this because it's a pretty funny interaction with a CTV reporter, and it's pretty good. I don't know. I hear some little echo or something. I don't know. Is it on my end or your end though?
No, it's not on my end. I have everything off.
Okay.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah. Look it up. Look it up. What's a J school? Look it up. You're a disgrace. Ask your mother what she thinks of you. Ask my mother what she thinks of you.
All right. Here, listen to what he says here.
It's a bird.
Yeah.
Ask your mother what she thinks of you. Ask my mother what she thinks of me. My mother loves me.
I love that. My mother loves me. He looks super offended. Ask my mother loves me. I don't know why I found that so funny. For fuck's sake.
You're a disgrace. Don't worry about it. And don't you dare talk about my mother. You're pathetic. Be at work. Thank you. You're pathetic. I get paid for what I do. So do I. And you're pathetic. You're a disgrace. Okay. Mike is his name? Yeah, Mike Arsolides. Mike Arsolides, CTV News, Ottawa. Yeah, came back to you with Rebel News here. You can see CTV behind me. Pathetic disgrace that they are. We were just at a presser with Kathleen McKenna. You have no credibility. Thank you. Sorry. You want to interrupt my... This isn't news. This isn't news. You're not news. Okay. You are fake news. Oh. Really? Yeah. What are you?
You are fake news. You are fake news.
Fuck off, shorty.
Ask three very sympathetic questions to the government today. Like, what is your message to those like this gentleman here and people who will never listen to what you're saying today? When you hear the president of the United States say what he said recently about why are they going after plastic straws? How difficult is it to combat the muddying of the waters when you have people advocating? When I speak to conservative supporters, or at least those who claim to be, they say the carbon tax has to go. When you talk to constituents, what are they saying about the carbon tax? Do they understand what the carbon tax is and who initially came up with it?
So residents of Ottawa Centre are supportive of our action on climate change, including a price on pollution. And to be clear, we put a price on pollution and we're giving the money back to people.
See that? Just like three super sympathetic questions, like softballs. Like, so do you know why your constituents are too stupid to know what the climate plan is? And, can you contend with these far right people at your event asking you questions? I also have another thing I was going to share too of this guy from the True North company or whatever. And he was denied access to Trudeau's van and credentials and all this shit because he was a part of True North or something. So, it's only the acceptable media who's going to ask them softball questions that are allowed on his, boat, or I mean on his bus, right? Campaign bus. All right, let's see this.
Have you ever asked a critical question of a politician and your wife?
Buddy.
Have you ever asked a critical
You're
question?
barking up the wrong tree. Thank you.
I just want to know because the questions you asked were pretty lapdog style.
Next time when you show up to an event like this,
pretty lapdog style questions.
You wouldn't even know what a professional is.
You asked 3 questions that were both very.
No, you wouldn't even know what a professional is. So, what's your name?
Got you. My name's Kian. What's
Kian,
your
last name?
What's your name?
You watch me on TV.
I really have no idea who you are. You're pathetic. You're a disgrace. He called me an 18-year-old. Called me fake news. Said my mother doesn't like me. That's what CTV is.
And what the fuck were they doing there? Like that whole area looks very clean and pristine. What were they doing? Like did they throw the straws there and they picked them up and said, "Hey, look, we cleaned it up." It's so scripted and staged.
Right. Yeah. And that's just ridiculous. Like fucking like just have some actually, these are obviously the news agencies that want to get a lot of the funding from Trudeau, right? You know what I mean? Clearly, that's why they're just going to give him softball questions. But you do see a couple news agencies starting to kind of turn a little bit on him. It seems like the Globe and Mail. I don't know, but I've just been liking what they've been doing as of late. And they even promoted an article from Ezra Levant, right? And in Canada, Ezra Levant is a Nazi, and so for like a publication to even put anything of his on there, like I don't even think the Toronto Star would do that. So I don't know.
Well, it just shows a lack of decorum in the main media. Like, I mean, that incident that happened at City TV when they were actually protesting to allow Bernier into the debate. And then I forgot the guy's name from Maclean's magazine was just, throwing F-bombs and the Trudeau finger around. I mean, this is great because it shows who these people are. They're in insufferable intolerance. That's all.
Right.
And I think that we remain magnanimous to this. This kid handled it perfectly, right? So,
right.
I think this is the way we should all continue to act. Actually, there was a video of, I forgot, it was a senator from the U.S. She got caught, because just before they go live, the satellite feed's already up and running, and they caught that feed, and she was saying that, I'm a leftist, and I gotta tell you that conservative people treat me better they're polite, they don't disrespect me in any way. Yeah. So it's like these people are a little retarded.
I know this one girl, and she worked with she knew a lot of people that worked in the in the American government or the government or something, and what she said is liberals were, they dressed really loose and shit. They didn't wear everything, but they were dicks and they were assholes and they were mean. Like that's just what she said. Like, I'm not saying that is the complete truth, but that was those people's experiences. And then even her experience as well. When we're working with a bunch of conservatives, they dress nice, they're polite, they're nice. They don't, whatever they treat people right and shit, but people will just say, "Oh, well, really, deep down they're very racist," even though they do all that stuff. That's just a front, anyways. But you'd much rather work in that situation as opposed to with a bunch of liberals telling you to go, shut the fuck up and get me a coffee. Like, hurry the fuck up. Oh, okay, Obama, here you go. You're welcome. That's something they said about Obama, is like people didn't like it because he never said thank you or he never said anything like that, right? And I think that's the thing. Trudeau is probably a lot like that. Look at the people that don't listen to him. There's another woman that just came out. They wrote an article. She said that she was a feminist, and then she's like, because she didn't laud Trudeau's feminism, that she was kicked out of the party or something, and whatnot. So, you know, this guy, yeah, if you don't play ball by his rules, then you're a piece of shit. And, you know, maybe he pretends to be nicer though in public. I don't know, than some other liberals though. I'm not sure, but let me share this. Oh yeah, this is from Manny, Ottawa, right? So Manny, Peter Ackman, CTV, your report false and defamatory. You infer in your story that I'm a Russian troll. I'm Italian immigrating to Canada in 1959. I'm a real patriot. So he's mad that CTV, showed his face in one of their things where there was a bunch of alt-right trolls promoting some, hashtags for Trudeau, like must go or something.
Pinpoint targeting. Sure. I mean, this looks like a Canadian focus account to me. And history is repeating itself. Hashtags like Trudeau must go and Trudeau corruption are being tweeted and retweeted hundreds of times from innocuous sounding accounts.
So yeah, you see there's Manny, Ottawa right there. Manny, Ottawa, hashtag Trudeau corruption. And it did kind of imply that he was a bot, but it's funny.
Are being tweeted and retweeted hundreds of times from innocuous sounding accounts which claim to be domestically based.
Yeah, they are. They're making it sound like he's a bot.
Yeah, but fuck you, Manny, Ottawa. I don't give a shit. Oh, I'm not a bot. No, you're a bot. Nah, you're a bot. That's what you are. That's what I'm gonna go with, because you look at that guy's Twitter and he's always like, see the PPC, or they're full of racist and this and that or whatever. So it's like, all right, well, you want to play this disingenuous game, then I can play that game too, right? So no. Manny, Ottawa is a bot. Go to his Twitter, everybody, right now. Go to Manny, Ottawa's Twitter and say, why is this bot account still allowed on Twitter? I saw it on a CTV news program saying, and this bot account is still on Twitter. You're just going to enrage the guy if you do that. Guarantee it. But let's see. What do I have here? Oh, yeah. There was another article from, they're trying to smear Maxime Bernier, and they're like, he had 3 people on his initial candidacy that were a part of white supremacist groups or something. Let's see here. What was this? 1-year ruling, Andrew Layton. Okay, one sec. I gotta find the story because it just disappeared on me. Vamoosed. Okay, former neo-Nazi Pegida. One sec. All right, so yeah, former neo-Nazi Pegida Canada official among People's Party of Canada signatories. So the former leader of the U.S. neo-Nazi group, a former Soldiers of Odin member, and a Pegida Canada official were among those whose signatures were submitted to Elections Canada last year to officially register the People's Party of Canada record show. So, 1 second here. One moment. Where's the article? Oh, yeah. All 3 of their names appear on Elections Canada document obtained by Global News that confirmed a minimum of 250 party members had signed the membership declaration. The forms were required to obtain party status for the PPC and its leaders, Maxime Bernier. So, they're trying to delegitimize the party, right? The Canadian Anti-Hate Network said the revelation that the party's founding members, including associates of extreme far-right anti-immigrant groups, should be grounds for removing Bernier from the televised elections debate. So yeah, they want to remove from the debate because they're like, oh, well, his candidates were far-right, racist. That should disqualify them. These people speak to who is really excited about the People's Party of Canada and who got in on the ground floor, said Evan Balgord, the anti-hate group's executive director. it's become impossible to separate the PPC from this kind of white supremacist ideology. So yeah, they're trying to tie it hardcore to white supremacy, all that bullshit. The act is agnostic when it comes to ideology or platform, Natasha Gauthier said in an email. There is no mechanism allowing the chief electoral officer to reject an application solely based on ideology. So even if they were virulent racist, that's still not grounds enough to disqualify a party for that reason. Be like, well, you're null and void. Your vote doesn't count anymore because you're a racist. Under Canada Elections Act, parties do not have to disclose the information about former or pending criminal backgrounds or investigations regarding those involved with the party, she said. So I'm pretty sure that was a rule that the Liberals changed. I'm pretty sure they had to before, but I'm pretty sure the Liberals changed that. I'm not too sure, though. Released to the global news by Election Canada, the forms list Sean Walker among the PPC signatories. Walker, who now lives in St. Catharines, Ontario, once led the National Alliances and was convicted in Utah over his role in a conspiracy to intimidate minorities. A conspiracy to intimidate minorities. Okay. U.S. prosecutors called the National Alliance a U.S.-based white supremacist group. Although it purports to be nonviolent, the National Alliance is generally recognized as a group that condones and promotes the use of violence to achieve racial separatism. So it is generally recognized by whom? So you can say we're not violent, we don't promote violence, all you want, but if these certain groups recognize you as being violent, then you are, then that's what you're promoting. And to achieve racial separatism, and see, they're probably talking about racial separatism, but they're not saying anything about being violent. But this is just what these people's minds go to. I was arguing with one guy in my comment section a while ago, and he's like, well, the only way you could achieve it is through killing all of us or doing this or that. I was like, holy shit, man. Your mind goes like to the worst fucking thing immediately. The party cuts his ties with Walker last month after his past involvement in the white nationalist movement came to light. While his position in the PPC was unclear at the time the Elections Canada forms disclosed his role in registering the party, Walker did not respond to requests for comment, but in the message obtained by Global News last month said he was innocent of the U.S. charges and was framed. So, yeah, it doesn't look good on him, And he said he was framed, right? I don't know if he was framed, possibly. I don't know. The PPC submitted 489 membership declarations when applied to register as a party. Elections Canada accepted 485 of them as valid. Of those 314 members later signed confirmation forms exceeding the 250 required for registration. So even if they nullified those 3 people, they would have had enough people by large margins. So it wouldn't disqualify them from running. But you see, this Canadian anti-hate network is going to try their very best to, ruin the party. Among them was Janice whatever, who is an active Pegida Canada in a group called Fighting Hate in Canada.
Pegida. Oh my God.
The slogan is Patriots of Canada Against the Islamization of the West, denies it is a white supremacist group. The Canadian Anti-Hate Network describes Pegida as an anti-Muslim group and says that while it isn't militant or physically dangerous, Pegida rallies often attract more violent far-right groups. Another, they attract Antifa people that come and attack people. That's what organizing on the right does. It attracts angry leftists that want to come and attack you. That's what it does. I don't remember any time that a bunch of right-wingers went and attacked a bunch of leftist protesters because they were protesting the climate or something and just showed up there like, no, oil and gas, Fuck
or
you,
or
hippies.
block the traffic, or engaged in stopping business operations, or blocking people from their own little protests. Like, I mean, there's so many examples, right? I mean, what about bike lock guy? What about the Chinese reporter that they beat up and sprayed bleach in his eyes or whatever? I mean, like, these people are insane. Like, to that woman's point, that senator said, I've never been treated rudely or any way that's aggressive by conservative people. It's only the left.
Browns, I see Garma said brown supremacist isn't a thing. Have you ever heard of La Raza?
Oh, isn't that what Andy did? La Raza. Yeah.
Like the race,
Yeah.
it's a premise. There are plenty of groups, but it's only bad when white people do it because reasons, right? Whatever. But the history and reasons and privilege and white, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, nonsense. But see, so now there's oh yeah, so what was this? Oh yeah, well whatever, right? So there's 3 people in his party that they're like, oh, get rid of these racists out of here because yada yada. So whatever, not a big deal. Just more, you're gonna see more of this before the election, hits. But I want to share this one thing from the guy from True North, Andrew Lawton. And he's being denied access on a lot of liberal buses and shit for stupid reasons. And these 2 girls here showed what do you call it, just the fact that they wrote an article for some like unknown person and then he let them in. But even though he is an accredited journalist or whatever, they wouldn't let him join.
Hey, I've been told, unfortunately, you're not an accredited media guy. But you just asked her to show you articles, so I can show you articles I've written. Well, I've just been told, so I know. Unfortunately. I know, but why was the benchmark for her just, pull up on her phone things she's written? I can show you things I've written under my name. My understanding is that accreditation wasn't provided, so I'm so sorry. But you just provided accreditation. They had already been provided. They were provided the news release and everything, and so I was provided the news release. That's how I knew where to come. Instructions are. That's how I knew where to come.
Okay. Was that even sharing or no?
It seemed like it was sharing to me.
Okay, all right, good. Just because I must have just stopped sharing, but yeah, right. So I know he's been having a lot of issues on the road lately, and just another example of Trudeau and whatnot, saying that he wants to be transparent. He wants to be the most transparent prime minister in history. Yet, he's not going to take tough questions, and I think we've all seen Trudeau try to answer questions, and it's always yes, but look at what we're doing for women and this and that. Trudeau, do you feel that you did this badly? Well, no, I'm actually really great. It's like, just answer a question for once. Can't help but twist his fucking words, that guy. But let me check out the chat here a little bit. I got to scroll down a little bit. It's been kind of going for a little while. Are people arguing? Is Gargamel calling people white trash? I'm not poor white trash. You're still white trash, Gargamel. And white trash is a racist term, by the way. It's racist, and you're gonna get banned from my channel if you keep being a racist. How was Trudeau a teacher if he never learned how to answer a question? Right?
He was kicked out. He was kicked out of that school.
So you don't care if you're gonna get banned? Yeah. Is that true? We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I was right about to ban you there, but then I, reconsidered it, and I was like, nah, I'll keep you around. Do you see that Lawton from True North was stopped by the police? Yeah, I saw that too. He was stopped by the police in Hamilton as well, and they asked him, "Why are you following the bus?" Because I'm the media. It's like, it's my job to follow the bus. Why are you questioning me? Like, Trudeau or his staff called the police on him. Like, that's crazy, man. Calling the police on the media. And, that's a big story in and of itself, right? The media should be reporting on that. They should report on a lot of things that they don't report on.
Well, it's really amazing that even Rebel was the only media that actually went and searched for that lady, that he seemed to be kind of doing that little chokehold. It was like he's trying to sneak a little, little rub there around the nipple area. And they actually tracked that woman down, and I don't know, like sometimes the Rebel media can just over hyperbolize the situation, but they were asked not to go to the property and to stay across the street. They called the police. They were kind of hostile, actually. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. They should follow up on that story, and especially the groping stories now. When that woman had initially started that whole Me Too movement with Trudeau, that reporter, if you remember, and then she backed off like in a week. So who got to her, right?
Right.
They should be following up on a ton of stuff, but they're not. They're actually doing damage control for him, and that's what the payout was for. It's future damage control. Him cucking out of the debates tonight. It's just, and no one's calling him out on it.
Yeah, well, you got a little bit of people calling out. They have to make the appearance like they're
of course, but it's barely calling out. Like, I mean, there should be an outcry for that.
Right. Yeah. No. And you know that, like, how hard the media goes after people on the right, whereas they should still, like, these so-called feminists and people that care so much about women and their security, they should be really angry at Trudeau for groping a woman back in whatever fucking year it was and doing all this other shit, being super racist, whatever. But yeah, like I said, nobody gives a shit. So let's see. I don't blame the chick for not bringing up old shit. She has a husband. She moved on. Say day. But oh yeah, I saw Gargamel respond. He said, "White supremacists kill people. That's the reasons." Well, guess what? The majority of people that are being killed in America, it's not disproportionately. It's not white people doing
it's black on black violence,
the crime. So if you were really worried about murder and killings, then worry a little less about white people, maybe, and maybe people would take you a little bit more seriously. But once again, you gotta label, okay, they're white supremacists, and now their killings are just 10 times worse because they had anger in their heart when they did it. And then you see there was lots of people. There's a black guy right now that just said he raped and killed his 18-year-old daughter, right? And he said he did it because of slavery or something in the history of slavery, right? So it's just ridiculous.
Terrible.
White supremacy doesn't exist, you idiot. Stop using leftist terms like that. Like, what does this have to do with white supremacy? What you're talking about? Jewish supremacy. The only supremacy that exists right now is some fucking Jew supremacy that's going on. Look at the majority of people in fucking like, I was looking at the university programs or the 2012 scandal, and I was reading through this massive document, and Jewish people are massively overrepresented in these higher education institutions, even though their scores have even been depleting. And white people are massively, if you take out Jews from white people and you stop considering them together, white people are massively underrepresented in universities. They're like 32%, and they make up 70% of the population, even though they still represent 60 to 70% of the highest achievers within the country. Yet they only make up 38%. Statistically, that doesn't make any sense. Asians are complaining. Well, even though they're still pretty close to what their numbers more or less would be. But no, it's Jewish supremacy. It's Jewish people a lot of the times. They're the ones in these positions of power and shit. It's enough of this old white supremacy bullshit. We're just giving you all of our money, and people are coming into our countries and taking it over and taking all of our money afterwards. Oh, this is the worst white supremacy I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, just the stupidity of people who use that shit, those terms. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? Oh, you get to walk in the streets and the cop won't look at you twice. That's white supremacy. It's like, no, maybe because natives or some aboriginals or some minorities commit disproportionate amount of crime, right? So in Winnipeg here, there is all of a sudden meat thefts are going up, right? All meat is being stolen from supermarkets, right? Because it's a high commodity now, and the meat thefts have been going up. Like, people are busting into delis and stealing tons of fucking sausages and shit, right? And now they have to hire security guards in grocery stores to make sure people don't steal fucking meat. And guess where the fuck this is? Do you think this is in my area? And this, no, it's not, man. We don't need to hire security guards to watch our fucking food so it doesn't get stolen. No, it's in the North End, and it's where all the Aboriginals live. I'm sorry to fucking say, and they're the ones stealing it. I used to know tons of these crackheads who used to steal blocks of cheese and meat and be like, they'd try to sell it to you. So, you get like a block of cheese is still expensive. It's like $8. So they'll be, I'll give it to you for $2-3. You're like, all right, big block of cheese or something. But in the article, they're like, well, we don't know how to profile these people because who steals meat? Well, it's pretty easy. I can profile very easily for you who is most likely going to come in and steal shit, but that would be racist, and you wouldn't want to hear that, and that would be part of the white supremacy bullshit, right? So, it's just stupid nonsense. But I think I'm gonna end it right away. It's getting a little bit late. I'm getting tired. I had a long fucking day, but thanks everybody for joining me. Appreciate it. Thank you, Frederick. Chattel, I'm sorry, you had some issues here and there, but hopefully next time we can work that out and bring you on again if you're still in the chat anyways. Let's just see last people. Hey, Justin Cringe, how's it going, man? Keep them out. I agree. I hate when cops are behind me driving. They can bust you for anything. Yeah, fuck cops in general, right? Later, Droopy, man. Have a good night. And see you later, Clume, Steve, CC, even Gargamel. Hope you have a good night, man. I love you, and you're a part of the family, and we will never forget you when you die. Slavey and everybody else, hope you all have a wonderful night, guys. Take it easy. Good night. Peace.